I've actually come back to this video. I've got Amy with me. Hello, Amy.
Hello, Karen.
I've wanted to add a bit more because I'm just a bit like, the more I watch this video, the more uncertain I am of it that it's real. I should have sent you the picture, Amy, of it in the field. 1 second. So I just sent Amy this picture because in the video they say this is how the whole thing started. It was the thing was in there, and then it started off by just spewing that, and then it turned into
Yeah,
now it's caused this. What do you reckon, Amy?
well, I I don't know. I mean, I
Don't you think it's
suppose
really?
that
I
could.
don't know. It just seems really strange. Carry on. Sorry, Amy. I butted in.
Oh, no, it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I guess something like that could happen, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the reason I started watching this video was Mickey sent it to me because it was a good explanation to how maybe the mud floods could have happened, or
Yeah,
this is maybe what happened. It actually is hot springs from below, and they've come up and done this kind of stuff. That would fit into mud floods. It doesn't fit into, when you've got, there's like a great big rock and there's a building sticking out of it. It doesn't cover those ones because that looks like we want
right.
to turn that whole town to stones, and there's just one building sticking out of it. That's what that looks like. But actually, mud things,
Yeah,
and of course, we're supposed to have built on top of it. Um, that could have been the reason. So I like this video, but because I was
yeah,
making the video and wanting to put little bits in and watching it and listening, the first thing that got me was that you don't hear them once in this video. Because don't forget, they're the ones telling you about this terrible nightmare that's happened. Um, they don't ever say once that that they tried to bore it up or sort it out, and now it's after a year it's turned into that from that. So I thought that was really
yeah.
strange. You don't hear once of a sort of a rescue thing or anything. So
I know.
the villagers are saying it's the mining company. Then other people are saying, oh no, it was this earthquake we had. But I mean, that's quite drastic. I mean, and also, does that look like a sea of mud? It just looks like water. I don't know. I don't know if that looks like a sea of
Yeah,
mud.
I know. It looks like a sea of water.
Yeah, it does to me. And then,
I don't think.
when you think that it started off
Yeah,
like that in a paddy field and now it's turned
yeah,
into this, I'd say it was quite a big disaster. But,
yes,
you've only got their word for it. And then when you're there, it's not like you feel that there's 350 miles of land taken with this thing. I just don't know. But it just made me, when I saw, let's go to it because we may as well, Amy. So when you see this picture, I mean, I can't even work out if that's supposed to be like a welly boot that comes up there, or whether that's supposed to just depict he's got mud up to there. But there's part of his trousers missing. There's something weird with his trousers here. Look, just there. And there's no way he could be, it's past his knees. Could he be standing there like that with a building so close behind him? But you just don't notice these things. So he was supposed to have been there, and he's standing in a studio. So that makes me think they've made the whole thing up, or they've made this whole story up. I don't know.
yeah,
We can't go there and see if it's real. We'd need people from that place to say it's real or it's not real or whatever. But this video is not correct. There's something wrong. Look at him. You cannot have him standing with his knees below the ground like that, and then the building's right there.
that's right. Yeah, it doesn't add up.
No.
Yeah, it makes me think it's not even real.
That's what it is to me. But maybe it is real. No, I just don't know, Amy. I
Because
just
why
don't
would they have
know.
to why would they manipulate the picture like that? I mean, they
Why do
probably
they have to
didn't
do
count.
this? Why couldn't we have really seen him there? But the reason is, what it is this video is playing, and then the more I've watched it, the more I've seen or understood, and this is where I've got to. So we're sticking this bit in. But the original video, I was like, maybe this is how mud floods started. But by the end of it, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, is this video real at all?
Oh, I know.
What's your
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's
What's your thoughts, Amy?
shame.
Because you've only seen a
It's
little
a
bit of it, but
yeah, I think it's a shame because it is an interesting video to show maybe how mud floods took place. But then you see something like this and you start to doubt if it's even real. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because it would have been an interesting thing about the mud floods. But now you have to wonder, you know, once you spot...
We know that sometimes things really do happen. I've told Amy about something in my life, and occasionally they do happen. But really, every time I stick a video on, when have I ever stuck a video on and gone, Amy, I couldn't find anything wrong with the video? Everything I watch, every single thing. Doesn't matter if it's Miley Cyrus, it doesn't matter whether it's the old videos, it doesn't matter whether it's this. Why did I have to spot that? That's not correct. There's no way he could be standing there like this with the buildings here.
Yeah, that's right. I saw something similar a few years ago where it was supposed to be a flood somewhere, and I think the news guy was like up to his knees in water, but then when you looked in the background, like there was hardly, people were just walking or something like that, and there was hardly any water at all.
I remember what it was, Amy. That was a hurricane. Well, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And they're showing you this footage of them recording, and he's on his knees and he's battling through the winds, and then these people walk past.
Yes,
and they walk like looking at him, going, "What's the matter with him?" Well, they're telling you how bad everything is.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know why they do it. I guess it's just sensationalism. They just want to make it sensationalized.
I don't know what the answer is. I'd rather just the truth. But do you think that's enough, Amy?
Me too.
Oh, sorry. Do you think that's enough?
I think that's good.
So we've just shown you a few anomalies, and they don't even talk about ever of trying to bore this thing up. So there's just something not right, don't you think?
Exactly.
Maybe they were all actors. Right. I don't know. Maybe it's true, but why isn't he really standing in Java then? Why is he in a studio with his knees, above his knees, gone? Trying to look the He-Man, standing in Java when he isn't.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't add up.
No, thanks for that, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome, Karen.
Mickey brought to my attention this video. It's talking about a mining disaster off of Australia. You can see there it says 6 days ago, and it's got quite a good viewing. These islands are in Malaysia, but what it is let's go to the picture. So what the geologists and the people are saying is that this is the mining company that has done it. And what they're pretending is that it was an earthquake, a very small earthquake, say two, it was on number 2, obviously 5, 8, 10, they're all very bad. But number 2 is rating is not that high, and it happened a couple of days before. And then while they're working here by the sea, obviously this thing has cracked through the earth, and then all this hot mud has come up here. So I thought that was very interesting, because so basically people here have, let's get a better picture. So it's over here in Bali. That's where it is. They're showing you that person crawling through the mud just to get out. And then all these people, there's children crying, and it's been like this for a year. It's not the best quality picture, I'm afraid. But what my point is that let's just get to a better picture. So this is what's happened. All these people here were working for the mining company, and then this incident's happened about a year ago, and now this is what it looks like. They said like 40 villages have gone, loads of people have lost their work, nobody's got any money, they've lost all their goods because obviously it's horrible, muddy water. So my point of making this video is, when you watch this and see what happens to the villages and that, is this the Great Mud Flood? Was it that they were mining us like this? They don't care about us. They're mining away, and they caused 3 or 4 or 10 or 20. They've caused it to happen worldwide. Maybe they all did it together, it happened over years, I'm not sure, but is this our mud floods, where the muddy water comes up because they've crashed into it, and it's caused it to then come up all, hot when it's hot as well? Is this what mud floods are? When you look at all this and you think these people will have to leave their villages, leave all their stuff because it's all ruined. Anyway, I want you to watch the video and then tell me what you think.
At first I thought this can't be true. It's like some sort of prehistoric disaster movie.
I can't believe that YouTube, when I made this little video, it was just under a minute long, and for some reason they didn't stick it on the short videos. And I wanted it to go there just to show you how ridiculous. Let's move on a little bit, because oh no, there's a word, right? What's that there? There's a writing in there. Okay, is it up here? Oh no, maybe it is. Well, anyway, when you have a look at his legs, he's over his knees in mud, but look behind him, there's buildings. And then to the right, because it's from a video that's on, it is on Sun and Moon, there's wooden things. And to the left, so where's all this mud that 3/4 of his legs have disappeared in? This is the kind of thing they do to us all the time.
But it's real, all right. A gigantic volcano of steaming hot mud as far as the eye can see. It's already swamped a dozen villages on the Indonesian island of Java. And I mean swamped. Houses, factories, mosques, everything just swallowed up by this relentless tide. 40,000 people have been left homeless, without jobs, without hope. And the really infuriating thing is, geologists are convinced it's not a natural disaster. It's man-made, and the prime suspect is a big mining company with strong Australian connections.
It is quite nice, for a change, that the media are holding their kind to account, because obviously the mining companies will be corporations, won't they, or whatever big mining company that it is. But he's saying it's the mining company, so that's quite interesting, isn't it?
The world has never seen anything like this.
I definitely think that we've faced things like this before in the past. Oh yes, we have.
A gargantuan fountain of mud gushing from the bowels of the earth. Some days the crater surges wildly. On other days it quietens down, but it never stops. Too thick to drain away, it's burying everything in its path.
The one, I don't know, I just thought about things. So I'm actually adding this after I've actually done the video, because I got a little bit sceptical, because it's not like they drive around showing the miles and miles of countryside it's covering. Then I thought about it and I thought, wow, in this whole video that I've listened to, not once do you hear them say that they're going to bore it up. You know, they're going to plug it. They're going to go in and stop this happening or whatever. So what have they hit down there? What have they done? What have they caused if they're not going in to plug it back up and allowing all these people to lose their homes, and it goes on and on and on. So a disaster a bit like Fukushima, say, where loads of people lost their houses there and all that happened. Yeah, what's your yeah, well, we'll carry on with the video and then just tell me what you think, what your thoughts are.
This is a tragedy of errors backed by Australian money. A story of cover-up and suffering that goes all the way to Indonesia's presidential palace. Look, our first glimpse, there it is.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge eruption.
Those houses would just be
They are gone
inundated
inside. I mean, they are just full.
of mud.
360 degrees all around you for kilometres is mud.
Even for a top geologist, this site defies belief. Dr. Mark Tingay from Adelaide University couldn't wait to see the granddaddy of all mud flows on Indonesia's main island of Java, just west of Bali. It's so unpredictable, we're allowed just a few minutes at the crater.
It's just incredible the amount of mud and stuff that's coming out of here, all this fluid.
A boiling, bubbling cauldron about 100 metres across.
This is extraordinary.
This is amazing. This is certainly the biggest mud volcano crater I've ever seen, and I've seen some of the biggest natural ones in the world.
How hot is it, Mark?
This would be, as I say, the temperature ranges from about 70 to 100 degrees Celsius, so it's very, very hot. You wouldn't want to put your hand in it.
How long could this mud keep spewing up from underneath us?
Well, geologically, mud volcanoes can go on for hundreds of thousands of years.
Maybe because this place is a bit more publicised, it's been able to be got out to the public, for the public to take a concern and then go there, because if it wasn't for 60 Minutes doing this programme, I wouldn't have known. Mickey, none of us would have known. And this, you know, this is what's happened to us before. We've seen places like that. Some of us think that it was like a volcano came through or something. Maybe it was never volcanoes, maybe it was always the mud. And then these places get deserted. I don't... When you look at the buildings, they all look like they're single side, you know, like bungalows really. Not many of them have 2 floors on them, and yes, a lot of it has got, you know, is underwater, but you know, they're saying basically it's like so many, I can't even remember how many swimming pools a day gushes out of this thing. But you can still, if they're only single story and it's been going on for a year, how come you can still see all the houses? But when you look in those houses, what do you see? Mud. And that would be like the mud flood. But anyway, let's carry on.
But in terms of sort of man-made eruptions like this, the longest we've seen them go for is over 20 years.
No one knows how it will end, but we do know how it started, with the mining company's stuff-up. Here's what happened. This time last year, they were exploring for natural gas just to the right of the plume of steam. Around here were rice paddies and villages. You can see the roof of the local mosque poking up through the mud just over there. Now, when the drilling got to nearly 3 kilometres under the earth, it struck a high pressure zone, and the result was catastrophic.
When they were drilling this well, they've encountered this chamber, or this very large reservoir of highly pressured water. They've lost control there. That water started to come up the borehole and then got into another shallower level, brought up, captured all this mud, eroded all this mud and clay as it's come, and then erupted to the surface. So about 200 metres away from where they were drilling.
This all happened through mining. I'm pretty sure this is what happened to us when we say we've had the big flood, the big mud flood. This is what happened.
The world's top experts agree this was straight out human error. Most likely a failure to shore up the walls of the borehole with a protective casing.
We're 90% certain that the drilling is the trigger for this event.
So, lives lost, thousands of lives ruined through ineptitude.
Ineptitude's a pretty strong word, Peter. It's a very hard one because we don't know what the conditions were when they were actually drilling. However, certainly the only reason you don't set casing is to cut costs, because it takes time to set casing, and time is money when you're drilling.
When it started a year ago, it was a small geyser of mud and steam in a rice paddy. After a few days though, all hell broke loose, causing a frantic exodus. Levee banks and dams built in great haste collapsed just as quickly. A year later, 12 villages are buried, 20 factories, roads and rice fields are inundated, and nearly 40,000 people displaced.
And we're not talking a trickle of mud here, we're talking something with enormous force behind it, aren't we?
I mean, the mud is coming up at a great pressure, rates of 100,000 cubic metres a day. Now, in sort of layman's terms, that's the equivalent of over 100 Olympic swimming pools a day. You know, it's enough to sort of fill up a standard house in just a few minutes. Your living room in 30 seconds.
That seems quite a lot of this mud coming up, if that's happening every day. They're only showing you a small section of land when they're showing you the pictures. It's like, it's so hard to work out. Is any of this real? Is it all just another one of their stories? Have those people been misplaced and all that's going on, and it is the mining? Oh, that just seems rather a lot of swimming pools when you can see it's just a section of land in front, and they've forgotten that we're intelligent enough to realise we're not looking at hundreds of miles in front of us, you're looking at 100 feet. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that bit? I just noticed that.
Disasters on this scale normally attract immediate global aid, but not here.
Hello? Terima kasih.
The new homeless invent ways to survive. To see the mud, there's an unofficial toll. 50 cents to pass and more to park. But can you blame them? Here, everyone's fending for themselves, but it's hard work.
This is all to get to that factory that's deep in mud, to plunder all the lights, the electrical boxes, all the fittings in there. Then they'll go and sell them and make a quid so they can live day to day.
Today's haul is pretty good and should yield a good price. After this, they went next door and took away the roof.
Suwaji, how quickly did the mud come into your home?
Pertama kali kurang lebih 15 menit.
In the first step was 15 minutes. Our villages was flooded.
Suwaji and his family's tiny house was amongst the first to go, and they lost everything.
I was trying to save my children first and then my stuff later.
Suwaji lost his job too as a construction worker. He took us to his last project, repairing a highway, which is now the road to nowhere, buried forever.
Who do you blame now?
Ini salah juga pengeboran.
This is the mistake of the drilling company.
Lapindo.
Lapindo?
Lapindo, an Indonesian mining company, is public enemy number one. It's scrawled everywhere you look, and it's written across the furious faces in a nearby shelter for the homeless.
Ladies and gentlemen, who do you blame for the situation you are in?
So he asks them, who is to blame for this? And all the people say it's the mining company that have caused all this. You know, you think they're supposed to be, well, we know they don't take any notice of any rules and regulations. I mean, how do children get rat poisoning in their cereal? They don't take any notice of any of the regulations that they make. But this place would have had regulations on it when they mined before, 200-300 years ago, and caused all this world stuff. It wasn't. They didn't have any rules and regs, did they? Or did they? Or did they? But anyway, these people blame the company.
Now, this is where the waters really get muddy. Lepindo, the mining company, says we're not to blame, and wait for this. They say all this destruction was triggered by an earthquake in Yogyakarta, 300 kilometres that way, not by their drilling rig, which was only 200 metres away.
Yeah, I just made a video in good faith, you know, that's what we were watching. And I thought I could see it on the video. I don't think I can get that line off, but I think that it's not going to go, the line's not going to go, but I think you can see it well enough anyway. Now he is standing past his knees in mud. You can see the buildings here and the road and the street, the thing, that's a road or something there, and these are buildings and they're on solid ground. So how come he's past his knees in mud here with wood on here and stuff? This doesn't look real, it just does not look real. Anyway, so this is about this video here. It's a 60-minute video and I've done a video on it thinking this is maybe how the mud floods. Look, he's got dry mud next to him. Here, look, there's a line. What is all this? And a stream of water just here. Like, what is all this? And he's past his knees in mud. What's your thoughts?
Did your company cut corners in the drilling process?
Oh no, yeah, that's one is not true.
Despite mounting evidence, Lepindo boss Imam Augustino refuses to budge from the company line that this was a natural disaster.
Do you believe it was triggered by the earthquake?
This triggered by the tectonic activities, not only the earthquake, but it is a tectonic activities.
These tectonic activities, you mean the earthquake in Yogyakarta?
Yeah.
It's difficult for a geologist like myself to believe that an earthquake 200 kilometres away and 2 days prior to the accident would have caused such an event. We would have only had shock waves the equivalent of about Richter scale 2 at the site where the eruption took place. And now that's the equivalent of the vibration you get through your feet when you stand next to a road and a truck goes by. So it's a very, very light, not a strong vibration by any means.
Well, I'm pretty sure if it was the mining side of it, it would have caused this, and this has happened to us before, and what have they cared, what it caused and what they did, and we don't even know how advanced they were before when it happened. But there's that part of it. Then the second part is, was it done on purpose to stop something else? And you know, they've done all this to do something else. I don't know. What's your thoughts? You know, it was really strange that they're saying all these villages are gone, and they just show you a couple of 100 feet with houses under mud. Some mud. It is under mud, and yes, all those people might have lost their homes, but it's not what they said. It's swimming pool upon swimming pool is coming out. I don't know. Does it look like that to you? Like that has happened? It showed you pictures of this thing bubbling away. But it is good, at least, that 60 Minutes are doing it, unless it's just another one of their games and stories and all that. What's your thoughts? Because it looked kind of real. And for me, I started making this video because it fitted into what's probably happened to us with mud floods. Because they would not have cared about us with mining. I mean, they do mining in where the temperature's really hot. They take the water out, mine, and then they say they're going to put the water back. But when I saw that video, I was thinking, God, that's just a disaster waiting to happen then, isn't it? Because the water would be a bit like a coolant. It would at least help. And when you take it out, I mean, you have to wear suits to go in there, it's that hot. You can only stay in there for about 10-20 minutes, even with a cooled suit. So, you know, they don't care what they do to us. What's your thoughts then? Thanks very much.